Hello, everybody listening across the world. Welcome. Welcome to this episode that emphasizes education and information around lead poison prevention, safe renovation, and what lead poisoning means, and why it's even still a topic in 2021. I mean, it kind of seems very 90s, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. I know what you're thinking. But if you listen closely, you will listen to a conversation piece between myself. Oh, yeah. My name's Karlos Reyes. And I'm a community health worker based out of Massachusetts. Like I said, it's a conversational piece between myself and my intern, May, about lead poison prevention. So please grab a seat, grab a snack, come on back, and let's talk about it, shall we? Because information is power, and sharing is even more powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the first episode, and listen, this is a great podcast because it's very informative. We're going to be discussing a lot of things around lead poison, safe renovations, things of that nature. And also, we'll add in other tidbits of information, advocacy, and resources as well for anyone who might need it in the Western Massachusetts area, or for anyone interested at all. And I'm not alone in this. I have my fabulous intern, Miss May, who is with me here, and she's going to help me out here. And actually, this is kind of a good pop quiz for her because this will get her to remember all the information that that you're learning. Isn't that right, May?
Yes, that is.
That's right, May. So, with that said, May, I think you had some questions for me.
So, Carlos, what is lead poisoning?
That's a great question, and that's a wonderful question to start this conversation, May. Well, lead poison occurs when lead builds up in the body, and it's just as simple, often over months or years. And even small amounts of lead can cause serious problems for kids, 6 and under especially. And lead is also a neurotoxin, which means it can affect the neurological system, it can affect the kidneys, it can affect other vital internal organs, speech delay, behavioral changes, cognitive changes. So when we think about lead poison, it is a neurotoxin and it should be addressed as quickly as possible.
Tell me about the Mass Lead Law.
Absolutely. And each state has their own lead law. But here in Massachusetts, the lead law was created to protect children by de-leading a home before a child is poisoned. It also requires that homes built before 1978, where any children under 6 years of age live, be brought into compliance with the law by the removal or covering of lead paint hazards. Now, keep in mind that this law also applies to both the interior and the exterior of the house. And owner responsibilities. Owners of all pre 1978 housing where children under the age of 6 live must make sure that the property is in compliance. Owners in compliance with the lead law are free of strict liability for lead poisoned children living in a home owned by them if the dwelling is properly maintained. Owners cannot avoid liability by asking tenants to sign an agreement that they accept the presence of lead paint. It's illegal. Owners or real estate agents cannot evict, raise rent, or refuse to rent to anyone because of lead paint. It is illegal.
That is great information. So, now I have another question for you. What do parents need to know to protect their children?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. Well, protecting children in any case, it's always a lifelong good health goal. Believe it or not, even low levels of lead in blood have been shown to affect a child's IQ, their ability to pay attention, academic achievement. We were talking about it as a neurotoxin. And so the higher the levels are, the more dangerous it becomes. Children can be given a blood test to measure the level of lead in their blood. Until recently, the level 10 or more micrograms per deciliter of lead in blood. 10 was pretty much the basis for a case to be opened. But now we're even looking as into from levels 5 to 9, just to kind of jumpstart the process and really make sure that those levels don't go any higher. In the past, blood lead levels tests below 10 micrograms per deciliter of lead in blood or may not have been reported to parents. So as I was stating, if it's from 0 to 10, it wasn't such a big concern. But now we're looking at it from the 5 to 9 level. And once that level goes from 10 and higher, it raises concerns because we don't want it to affect their internal organs. We don't want the child to lose sleep or lose appetite or what have you, or feel worse.
Right.
So we always start reaching out to families once that level is from 5 to 9. The things that I've been finding that are causing lead exposure in Massachusetts is really a lot of renovations and remodeling that families are doing. We hit the pandemic and a lot of people had more time to, maybe work on the kitchen, do a project that they've put on hold. Maybe they wanted to work on their backyard. Maybe they wanted to repaint a child's bedroom. Maybe they just wanted to burn the house down and start from scratch. I don't know. People do that. People do that. But the point is, people had time to really work on their homes. So what's happening is in these renovations and these remodelings, a lot of dust is generated. A lot of paint chips are generated, but dust primarily. And we have to remember that dust gets everywhere. Kids are kids. They put their hands and their mouths on everything. So a lot of dust is generated, and we're going to get into, I believe you wanted to ask me about what? Safe renovations, right?
Yes.
Yes, you did. So we'll get into that in a few. But a lot of that work that parents are working on or doing in the homes is affecting the children. So dust travels. Also, Massachusetts has a lot of older homes. As we know, a lot of these homes haven't been put up to compliance. Sometimes it's just as easy as maybe a kid mouthing a possibly leaded source, like a windowsill, or picking at chipped paint, on a wall, or you know what, May? Could even be spices. I know this might blow some people's mind away, but with cultural sensitivity and respect, sometimes people order their food and spices from overseas. I've ran into a couple cases where that was the case, and these spices are not FDA approved. These spices have high levels of lead in them. So when a child comes back from that vacation, so to speak, they're contaminated with lead poisoning, and their levels are high. So that's another thing we've been finding. But again, it all goes back to just remodeling, woodwork, scraping, things of that nature, where families are taking the time now in the pandemic and post-pandemic era of getting these projects done at home. And so we definitely want to remind everyone, when you are embarking on a project, please make sure to keep the children away. Please make sure that you limit the access to the area. And also, we want to definitely get into safe renovations and what that means. And so, speaking of safe renovations, what's your question?
Well, I'm curious about how you ensure, like,
Oh,
safe.
yeah. Basically, well, here's how you can protect yourself, May. And as I stated, renovations can involve lead paint, removing paint, sanding or scraping painted surfaces, tearing down walls or plaster, replacing windows. But to answer your question, how to protect yourself and others during renovations? Well, you always want to vacate the premises wherever possible through the duration of the renovation. Okay, you always want to wear gloves, safety goggles, and a respirator that is approved and equipped with a HEPA cartridge. Now, a HEPA cartridge is some of the best filters you'll find. I don't know if you know this, but if you travel often, the filter that they have on the airplanes is a HEPA filter. And May and I have been blessed where we're able to give our clients and our caseloads wonderful vacuums that have a HEPA filter. So grateful for the organization that I work for. And so with that said, do not touch your face while making renovations. Keep children and pregnant women out of the work area until it's completely finished and properly cleaned. No one under 18 should work with lead paint. Limit the traffic in and out the house, especially in the areas where you're doing the work at. And always make sure to have all your supplies ready. Seal off a room from the rest of the house if possible. Remember, dust travels. Cover the furniture, cover your floors and carpets with plastic. Protect all your food and dining ware. And so when you're done doing all that post cleanup, you want to use disposable rags. You want to definitely use a wet cloth. Wet cloths definitely will pick up dust better than anything else. Wet wash all surfaces. throw out all trash, and wash clothes separately. You don't, for instance, if I am working at an auto repair shop or a chemical plant or something like that, once I come home, I'm going to want to remove my clothes and keep that work clothes separate from the rest of the laundry so that that dust and solder or what have you doesn't get onto the other clothes.
Because it can also be contaminated, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And kids, they touch everything too, so we don't want them to be contaminated in that way. So that was a great question, May. Well, before we conclude this small episode here on lead poison prevention, thank you so much, first of all, for listening and for your curiosity. May, would you please kindly express to us tenants' rights?
Okay, tenants' rights with children have the right to a lead-safe environment. It is the responsibility or the landlord to pay for the inspection and de-leading. All tenants should be given a tenant lead law notification certification form if they live in a home built before 1978. Even if they do not have children, they should have that form. Tenants with children under 6 age should talk to the landlord about having a home inspected. If the landlord does not get the home inspected, tenants can contact the local Board of Health for a lead determination. If the landlord does not get the home inspected and there is no lead determinator, the local Board of Health, tenants may get a parental request form from the CLIPS program, which Karlos is in, and a CLIPS inspector will be free determination or inspection. If the Board of Health or CLIPS inspector finds lead in the unit during determination, they will be forced the property owner to come in compliance with the lead law.
Well, thank you so much for your time, everybody listening. We want to just remind you to always keep the home safe and make sure you're practicing safe renovations. And again, if you are in the Massachusetts area and you have questions around childhood lead poison prevention, please reach the Childhood Lead Poison Prevention Program. They can be reached at 1-800-532-9571, or you can go to www.mass.gov/DPH/CLIP, CLPPP, for more information. As always, thank you for your time, your attention. Please share the knowledge, share the wealth, spread the information. That way we can all take care of each other. And also know that there is funding here in Massachusetts for homeowners, landlords who need to have their homes de-leaded. There is funding programs such as Get the Lead Out or the Springfield HUD program, which we will dive into more in the future. But for now, thank you so much for your time, your attention. And remember, please keep your home lead safe and make sure you're doing safe renovations. Enjoy the rest of your 2021. We'll be talking soon. Thank you.